Hi everyone, we're live. Welcome. We're here, Tropical Nomad, every Monday. Today is number 363. That's episode. That is. We have. It's great. It's a great feat. I agree. So today is all about tokenization. So for those of you looking at the title, you'll see it's farm tokenization. But we're going to go deep firstly into tokenization itself, and then we'll move into the area of our title. But just while you're here, just remember that once a month here on SpeakuP Monday, we have a representative from our Bali blockchain community. So once a month, you'll see it. Now, once a month as well, we're going to have an AI panel that we started last week that was incredibly interesting as well. So keep that in mind. We have two co-hosts now, Bhavna Parihar, who'll be here next week, and Natalie Banacek. So my name is Robert Ian Bonnick. Gentlemen, let's get started. Sim, Sabdo, welcome to SpeakuP Monday.
Yeah, thanks so much.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. So let's get started. So, you mentioned before about BlackRock having made this prediction, about tokenizing being the future. But let's break it down for people here. So what is tokenization? What does it mean? Let's start.
Anybody who's tried to buy real estate or mines or gold or anything where it's real wealth being purchased, it's complicated because you have to deal with lawyers or the government and verifications, and there's many middlemen involved in the process of you actually purchasing the asset itself. But when you think about wealth, wealth isn't coins on a screen. Wealth really isn't numbers in your bank account. Wealth is a house that you own, or the food that you can eat, or businesses that you buy, right? The way we purchased them previously is you could only buy shares in a company. Tokenization is a new way to participate in the prosperity of a business. In simple terms, it's like taking a business and breaking it up into little coins instead of shares, and somebody can buy the coins. Now, in order for somebody in Bali to buy shares of a company, it's nearly impossible. It's so complicated and convoluted that the average person can't access it. With coins and tokens, as long as you verify in KYC, anybody from across the world could buy $1 of this place, right? So let's imagine this beautiful place we have, Tropical Nomad. If we wanted to invest in Ichi, we would tokenize this place and issue a token. That would be like a share of Tropical Nomad that I could buy, that, let's say, some of the revenues from the establishment are given back to the token holders. But then that token could also become a utility token. I could use it to access specific rooms. I could access certain parties. I could become a community member and start to generate content around it because I want to support this whole vision. So it's like tokenization is the idea of issuing a new form of equity, let's say, in the company, but also it's a new way to be able to build community around an establishment.
So, Sabdo, bring you in on this. Is there anything else that you would add to that beautiful description of tokenization?
Well, basically, I found this accidentally, because I'm just doing the farming thing, but I'm learn about trading, and I love about the fundamental thing. So, yeah, what I'm thinking about is this is new technology will be happen, and nobody can deny the technology when the technology is come, right? So whatever it is, we need to ready. And I think this kind of tokenization is the way we to adapt with this new technology. And this is how we will be make the economic system is more fair. Then we have like the monetary system and kind of like that. Maybe this is I want to add it.
Got it. Thank you very much. So then we've explained what tokenization is. So I mean, the title for tonight is farm tokenization. So can you explain to us what that involves and why it's valuable?
All right. So every project for the NFT or the crypto, we have we call it tokenomic. Basically, it's like the best how we can get the profit and how this token can coming, the coin coming, and most of all the crypto or blockchain project for me is just like air-based project. You just make money from nothing, right? Like Bitcoin, if we all holder Bitcoin have agreement, we dump this coin, it's done. Because it doesn't have real asset. at the first, I'm just thinking about, okay, I have a farmer, I have a land, I have the yield, and how I can get the fund. Because the problem in farming is the funding. Because the farmer cannot get access to the bank, and also we have too many layers. Like we have middleman 1, middleman 2, 3, till the warehouse, till the factory. But can you imagine it? If the 5 layer can get wellness from this and making profit, can you imagine if we cut this all layer and give them to the farmer, then they can get the profit also, right? But with the conventional way, it's quite difficult. Like the bank, I already tried. Like for my 30 member of farmer, it took 3 months. And only 30% get approved. Meanwhile, we have the contract and we need to fulfill it. So I just thinking, let's say, if the person can get a loan, and if the land can become collateral, probably at the first, the picture itself can become a money. I just think about NFT. But thinking about, the picture doesn't enough, right? It's only picture at all. It need to be value. So when this NFT crash, we just can have money from that. Then I'm just thinking about the productivity. Because every land have their own productivity. Let's say the land for the rice field, the capital is need like around 2,000 US dollar, and then we can get profit. It's harvest like 30%. 1 year we can get like minimum twice for harvest. So we just can get like 60%. And whatever people are buying our NFT, they buying the productivity. So as long this land produce something, the holder will be get something.
And Sim, I know you want to add to that.
Yeah, let me try to explain that. Right now, a farmer produces food, one of the most valuable things on earth. Probably the most valuable things on earth when it comes to feeding our families. The farmer, first of all, does not have access to funding to fund the harvest. Problem number 1. So the farmer goes to a loan shark and gets a loan at a massive interest rate and stays in the cycle of debt. Problem number 2. The farmer then doesn't know how to sell it at the best prices possible, so he sells it back to the middleman usually, and the middleman sells it to another middleman who sells it to a warehouse, who sells it to a factory, and everybody makes profits along the way. We've created a system where we take a piece of land and turn it into an NFT. Let's say there's 1 hectare of rice, turn it into 1 hectare rice NFT. $1,000, you buy this hectare. That money goes directly from the investor to the farmer without any debt. So now the farmer gets capital. And that's done through the Indonesian government, where they actually buy the fertilizer and the seed and everything required to fund the harvest. The farmer then provides a percentage of the profits of the harvest back to the NFT holder. Right? So now we have an NFT with a guaranteed return. You buy a rice NFT today, a year down the road after 3 harvests, 4 harvests, depending on where it is, you will get a return back from the profits of that harvest. We're even going as far as to try to get farmer's insurance on the harvest, so you will have an insured return on your NFTs, but it's backed by the real world value of farming, right? So to the point that Sabdo said, right now crypto is in a space where you ask people, where's the money coming from? And they can't answer that question. And remember the rule in crypto, if you can't answer where the money's coming from, it's coming from you, right? It's coming from the next guy who buys the NFT, buys the Bitcoin, buys the whatever. With this, where's the money coming from? From the farming that's being done. So you're helping farmers get over debt. You're helping them access foreign investment in the click of a button. You are also finally buying NFTs that are creating real world value and putting food on tables. Therefore, you make a return on it.
You know, thank you for explaining that, both of you. One thing that we found, and I was talking to someone earlier on today, and they're always talking about real world value, real world use, right? NFT, this NFT, but what's the real world value? What's underpinning it? So my then question to you, knowing you a little bit, you know, is that this isn't your first rodeo when it comes to tokenizing, right? You have other companies that you've been tokenizing mine. So can you give just a bit of background on that so people can understand it's not coming from a person or people that have never done this before? Yeah?
Yeah, so I mean, you have to understand the concept of value. What is value? In the simplest terms, value is improving somebody's life. And if you can improve somebody's life enough that they pay you, you get a bonus. That's value, right? So we just 3 years back, I started looking towards this direction. I could just see that the future, when you look at the actual amount of wealth that's sitting in the world, most of it's sitting in derivatives, which are just casinos, and if you know what derivatives are, they're not real, right? The next largest amount is sitting in bonds, which is debt. The next largest amount is sitting in things like real estate, which is real. Then we have a large amount sitting in commodities, gold and mines and things like that. Then we have a large amount sitting in the stock market, which is real. It's businesses, right? So we just started to tokenize the things that are real. But the problem is when you tokenize a piece of real estate, that's a security. And in crypto, I'm sorry I said that word. If I triggered any of you crypto heads, you know, you say the word security and everybody runs out of the room because they're just trying to figure out a utility to avoid securities regulations. So we started with tokenizing mines because we could see that the wealth is going to shift towards commodities over the next 10 years, and there isn't enough production, and mining is being done in a way that is dirty. So we figured out a cleaner way to mine, tokenize that process, so that anybody who holds a token and stakes the token is holding a registered security, registered with the SEC, and then gets paid back some of the value from the mines. And then Sabdo and I met, and we just realized, let's do that for farms, let's do that for everything.
Got it. Beautiful. And then, so, you know, what else do you find when you meet people and you say, hey, we're tokenizing farming? You know, what other, because again, out there, I feel that people some are across it, some are not. So let's deal with the ones which are not. So what are the things, maybe negative, that people say about it, and what's the response that you give?
All right. So this is the funny thing I found it since I found Fire Harvest Oil. So this is the facts. In Indonesia, we recognize 380 coin legalized by the government. Okay, 383, if I'm not wrong. And mostly it's like the abroad project. So it's like outside from Indonesia. Only like 3 projects from Indonesia. This is the first. And why I say it funny, because when I give them the productivity and the profit from the yield, people will be asking me, all right, what the guarantee I can get this money? Meanwhile, when you buy any coin in the coin market cap, can you ask them, how can I get the money from the Bitcoin, from Ethereum? You never ask. But when I'm come up with the real idea, people asking for the guarantee and asking for how it's very safe. Even I have a group, Telegram. I saw them, okay, this is your money, this is the land. So I just, each week, I give them the progress when we plant the land. When our rice is growing, when we harvest the melon, even I give the invitation. Whoever want to come, make sure the land is real, just come. I give them the location. So when we have the real project, people just asking how. Meanwhile, when you buy any coin like Dogecoin, you never ask, and there are no guarantee for that. So why? But I love the problem annually. So when people say, okay, I will give you like the guarantee. The first thing I doing is like, for example, is for USDT, Ethereum. It exists since 2015, right? They never have the report of the accounting. They have actually dollar. They only release their accounting report in 2019.
Even then it's not.
4 years.
Even then it's not.
But can you imagine, after 4 years they're selling, they just give them, all right? And then me, just new project. People ask too much for me, but I love problems. So I just have cooperating with the public accounting. I want to report every yield I get when the harvesting. And I'm trying to get also with the law firm. I want to make the agreement, and I want to like become like when I want to doing the securities. So prospectus, I met them to make the prospectus for me. Because for me, when I can answer all the dope people give it to me, this is when the real world asset project will be start and become real. And this will become the standard for other project. This is what we aim to do actually. So like last month, you remember, right? Whoever buy our NFT with 2.5 billion rupiah, you can get second home visa or visa for investor for 2 years or 5 years. It's mean we're real because the government seeing how money is we using for the money for the farmer. He already see how our flow for the money until the food is come, till the field, until the end place we selling.
And I
Right.
still can't believe it.
You understand?
Still doesn't make sense.
So whatever
Say
you
it
want to
me again.
ask, we can show you everything. But this is the funny thing. Meanwhile, we have like more than 20,000 projects in the coin market cap, right? And nobody can see. Even some projects still anonymous. You just buying from the cartoonist, and you buying this one from the real person, real field, but you still don't it.
You
I
know
still
what it
don't
is?
understand actually.
You know what it is? It's
Sure.
that when it comes to crypto, people always look backwards.
Yes.
Right? People are always looking backwards. Oh, DeFi happened. I want some DeFi. Whatever. ICOs happened. I want to get into ICOs. People are playing the old game. In crypto, you have to play the game that hasn't been played yet. Right? So what is the future? When I ask you, what is the future that is going to be happening in the crypto space, it's almost impossible for people to be able to understand, right? It's because when you don't understand the landscape well enough, you can't tell where this technology is going to be directed. But you listen to like BlackRock CEO Larry Fink in the middle of a bear market. He's like, all right, everything else aside, tokenization of securities is going to be the future of digital assets. Right? Citibank just came out and said that tokenization of securities is going to be the way that they actually develop this whole area. So you get into tokenization of securities now. And the fact that people don't get it and they're asking you too many questions is exactly perfect. Because you want to buy things when nobody gets it. And then you want to sell it when your grandma gets it.
Yeah. There you go. Everyone here with a grandma heard that one. So here's the thing, right? So one from you, Sim. So what has been one of the biggest negative comments, criticisms, questions about what you're doing, and how did you overcome?
The biggest negative comment is people not liking the returns. Right? They're like, am I going to make a 50x? And you're like, no, this is farming. You don't make a 50x in farming. But it's much more guaranteed as a return. So like, yeah, but I could make XYZ returns on XYZ shitcoin, dog-eared shitcoin. And so you tell them, yeah, go ahead and buy that. Then you clearly are not investing in a risk-averse manner. So if anything, the negative comment is a positive comment. Because the people who understand the value of things going forward, they're happy to participate for a 40% return or whatever it's going to end up doing. This is not financial advice and not promise of future returns.
So let's move on to the project. So recently, and I got some video of this, but recently, can you just let people know what you've been doing? And I think that'll be very interesting for them to hear.
Yeah. So what I'm doing is here, like, I'm creating an NFT. So when I'm buying this NFT, is the money from the NFT is using for the capital to the farmer, so they can farm their land to cultivate. And after that, we get like 40% for the farmer and 40% for the holder of NFT and 10% for our company as commission. This is how we want to trying to stabilize the pricing of the NFT. But in the future, actually, the vision is to bring the metaverse in the farming thing. So whatever you, let's say, maybe you're in England, you're in the US or anything, but you can still manage your own land by the game with the metaverse. So metaverse will become like the extended world. So whatever you're doing in the metaverse, it will be happen in the real world, because my concept is so simple. I just thinking about when you're playing like SimCity or simulation game for farming, you're playing for just for fun, right? But in 3 months, you really get your real harvest. I will send it to your home. Or you can buy it for me and I give you maybe in the token or maybe in crypto. Maybe with this, with FarmSend, right? Maybe we have cooperating with them. So this is what we want to happen. But for the first, we have like 12 million hectare land in Indonesia ready to cultivate all around Indonesia. And for APD for myself, we have like now it's like maybe right now it's like 70,000 hectare all around of Indonesia. with palm, rice, corn. Mostly it's rice and corn, and also we have like fish pond and anything. And we already have like 1,000 farmer under us, and we really need to give them the right capital because we need to make sure that they will be have like the established profit. Because right now in Indonesia, we have 30 million people in farming, but 97% is already, the age is already up to 40 years. Can you imagine? So in my calculation, in 50 years, we will be doesn't have any farmer in Indonesia. So we need to make farmer is still profitable. In fact, in Indonesia in the COVID, meanwhile all sector business getting down, our agriculture just give surplus to our country 23% because there are no COVID in the village. People just come, cultivate the land, but the problem is there are no buyer. They just can cultivate, but the buyer not coming. So we just want to make this more real with the NFT. So the first thing is the funding. After that, the market. So I just want to make history in Indonesia. Whatever you harvest, you just don't need to waiting for your buyer. Just put the warehouse, and I will be pay for your yield. This is the using for 5 harvests all.
So right now, if you want to invest in farming in Indonesia, good luck. Right, good luck. You have to contact some company. You got to get some lawyers, some verification, just to try to put some money in, contracts, da-da-da-da. 5 Harvesto makes that process simple. You want to invest in farming in Indonesia? Click rice, corn, buy, that's it. One click farming, investing into farming in Indonesia. Like Sabdo was saying, then the process doesn't end there. Once the farmer has produced the food goods, we have another project called FarmSend, where we're taking that supply, putting it on the blockchain, and sending it to the Middle East and selling it for whatever multiple there is on that price arbitrage, and then funneling those profits back to the farmer themselves. And that whole process is going to be automated. So, you know, when we die, humans won't be able to corrupt it later on.
Yeah, we forgot something also, like from the yield from our harvest. Actually, right now, we consistent to send 2,000 ton a month to the Ministry of Village from our field. That's the project for the community project, right?
And we're also delivering it to social houses for the elderly and mentally disabled, because they're the ones who need the best quality food to reach their tables while compensating the farmers poorly. Right? That's the real world impact that tokenization produces.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because again, that's what we're looking for, right? With this technology, blockchain, usability, but where is the real world impact? Yes. And from what you're describing, right, it has a serious one. So look, before we go to the audience, so audience, you have a chance to ask any question. We have a third microphone, which will be you, Sim. That microphone will go on a walkabout. So if you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand and the mic will come to you. What I would recommend is that don't do this, won't hear you. Point it at your mouth with these mics. So look, you've answered it for me already, right, of why you do what you do, right? So I want to ask you, Sim, so what's in this for you? Like, why do you do this, right? You've created something very special, but why? What's behind it?
I was born a Sikh, also known as Sikh, if you want to mispronounce it. Our directive in life is to protect and feed. So I'm doing the feeding part to the best of my abilities. I have one KPI in life, and that's children fed. The more children I can feed, and I don't mean like charity, giving away food, no. I mean like actually just putting food on tables, figuring out more efficient ways to put food on tables is my purpose in life. So I live it every single day, and I'm glad to have people like Sabdo,
Yeah, of course.
you know, making that process happen.
And you know what? Cody said that you follow up. So why are you doing this, Sabdo?
Me, I want to change the world. It's so simple. Like from the childhood, and when I grow up, just need something to be real, right? So this is like the real thing I can do. That's it.
Love it. Love it. All right. So Sister IU, if you're around, we'll take this third mic, or it might be Guz. And if you have any questions, please feel free to raise your hand. I know there's a few questions there. Probably have to come around this way. Yeah. Mind the cable. Wonderful. Yeah. Great. So, I mean, one thing, just while we get that microphone out there, you mentioned about, the impacts here to Indonesians. You've mentioned about that calculation of in 50 years, farming's not going to be there, right? So this is an antidote to that as well. Yeah. But why else is this important to Indonesia? And what do you not need, but what is it that if it was contributed to you, would make this mission a bit easier to definitely roll out across Indonesia?
All right. So, if why I doing this also, like the first thing is like I already go all around all villages in Indonesia, like most island in Indonesia I'll be there, and the problem is all the same. The development in Indonesia is only happen in Jakarta, or like little bit in Bali, little bit in Bali also because the outsider and anything. But when you go to the Lombok, it's the nearest island, right? Or not Lombok, let's say North Bali. It's very different. People still doesn't have enough money. People still struggling how they can eat. How can they fill up their stomachs? This is the condition of Indonesia right now. Our people still struggling how to eat. So they don't thinking about the educating and anything because they still very hard to eat. The fact is, we are very rich country. Like in the past, we have like East Hindi company from Dutch, and this is the biggest company until now, like more than Google or anything. And this company just become like a kingdom, and the center of this company is in Indonesia. It's like ASEAN, right? It's the ASEAN. So I'm just thinking about why we don't repeat this history. The wrong thing is I want to make this happen because I want to show the government and the other maybe like the rich people, like Indonesia is not industrial country like China. We bet and we're not too good if we build the factory and anything. And just like China, the pollution will become with the factory. Meanwhile, our land is very fertile. Whatever you plant in your land, it will be growing, right? So this is the purpose. And what makes it easier? Just spread it. Just spread it and try to buy our NFT. Try to get the profit from it because I already give him the profit at the first. And then also like we give the profit for the people who buying our first NFT. Because when this is happen, when the people who have resources, have money, have knowledge, they buy our NFT and we'll be give the knowledge, not only the money, the knowledge, maybe we can also doesn't have enough money, but let's say you have demand for the rice. Based on your demand, I can give you the land and the people who are working it. And then when you give your money, we give you whatever product you wanted. So this is what can help the market itself and maybe like the promotion because we never doing real promotion, right? Yeah, we never doing the real promotion because I don't know what we busy for.
Because we're actually farming.
Yeah, farming.
Beautiful. Thank you, brother. So, questions? Just raise your hand and we'll pass the microphone to you. So you got a few here, are you? Yeah. Bruno and Carol.
Hello, everyone. Nice job. I really love this talking about tokenization. I think tokenization is going to be the future. And I would like to add one thing before my question. I have a couple of questions for you guys. The first one is I agree with the fact that a classic crypto investor will not come to do this kind of tokenization because crypto investors are usually used to have like those 50x return, or this is what they're hoping, and their risk management is very bad most of the time. So they prefer to invest in something risky that is going to give them a bigger return and not to go in something easier. So I think that the best way for improving tokenization and having more funds allocation is going to be and target traditional investors, the one that have a better risk management and they prefer to do 20%, 30% a year and not to do a possible 50x with the possibility that inflation, recession, or whatever is going to happen in our world is going to bring all the tokens down. So keep going. I'm sure that this thing is gonna be amazing and it's gonna bring real value to the people, and it's gonna help farmers and people that are really in need of this money for sustaining their business without of going to shark loan that are giving them 15%, 13%, asking for 15% or 20% return on the investment that they give them. So my first question is, have you already started to sell your NFT, or you are still in the phase where you are promoting it? If you did, how many have you sold already, or how many are you planning already to sold before the announcement? And also, which platform are you using for selling your NFT? Are you using your own marketplace, or you're using some secondary marketplace, I don't know, OpenSea, Rarible, or whatever it is? Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the question. So the first thing is like, until now, I will say it like we already selling for 50 hectare land. So it's like around maybe like 150 NFT around. And we already get the fund is like around 7 billion rupiah for that. Because why I told you with how many land, because I just remember the land. I even not remember the exactly NFT we sell it. Because we just distribute to the land. And until now, we already using our website, so you can go to our website, Fire Harvest O. We have our own marketplace, but soon we will be have cooperating with the secondary market for NFT, like OpenSea, or maybe like some partner who want to sell it. Yeah, like Farm Sand. And I also have like one project from Indonesia. It's called Oregon. So he just like become like a big. They want to buy our NFT with the big value, and then they will be distributed to back like the fractal or like the smallest thing to their community, because they need the ecosystem. So I have like 3 projects doesn't have real ecosystem and just come for us, and they want to selling our NFT and make cooperating with us.
So melon has already been harvested, rice has already been harvested. There's more NFTs being added into the space. The marketplace is probably going to shift to multiple different marketplaces because we have a lot of interest in the Middle East. So they would like to actually buy futures contracts effectively on their on the commodities from that side, so that they can guarantee the supply for when farm sends it to them.
Now, I think, did you have a second part of that question, brother, or is that okay? You're good? All right, wonderful. So Carol, and we'll get it to Adrian after that.
So I'll jump onto Bruno's question, actually. What's the minimum investment?
What's the minimum investment?
Oh, like it starts from like 250 for 1,000 meter square.
Dollars?
250 USD.
Okay.
Okay, but like minimum when you want to get the profit, or we will be start this project when we minimum we sell what 1 hectare land, because this is like the minimum calculation for the profit, because like you cannot cultivate only 1,000 hectare square,
Yeah.
like you need like minimum 1 hectare to get the big profit or like the maximum profit, I think. So this is
Okay.
the minimum.
So then the wider question is about what you are farming. So I come from a very long lineage of farmers on both my father and my mother's side. And the money is made from transformation, especially in developing countries. So do you have any intention to look at how products are transformed and maybe diversify into products that can be transformed rather than just rice? Because the value is much greater when you cultivate fruits and vegetables, and then and do something with it. Yes, that's where wealth comes, through transformation, not raw products.
That's a good question. So we're solving things one step at a time. First step, get the funding to the farmers through the NFTs. Second step, get the farmers fair compensation by shipping it to the right parties. Once that's done, yes, we are looking into setting up processing facilities. As a matter of fact, we just came back from Lombok, where we have conversations going on around facilities to process corn, potentially into pellets, dehydration facilities that will allow the preservation of the fruit and other things that get produced in Indonesia. The thing with production is production happens in seasons. So during the season, there's an overabundance of production. So we need to preserve that food and then potentially ship it out to the places. So we're definitely looking into that. We're even going as far as looking into how we can take the waste material, let's say from rice. You know, when you get a ton of rice, half of it turns into rice and then half of it turns into rice bran. So we're looking into how to take that and turn it into biochar, which is a natural fertilizer, and along the way make natural pesticides so we can replace pesticides, fertilizers, while generating carbon credits and generating a return for investors. So we're looking at cohesive solutions, but got to do it step by step.
Beautiful. Do I have time for one more question?
Yeah, sure.
Brilliant. You mentioned earlier that the situation in the north of Bali is not as developed and that there are people that are struggling for food. And you also mentioned that this is an island that is very fertile. Yeah, whatever you plant, it grows here. So the question is why? Why is there an issue? Because when you can plant and you can harvest, you have food. Yeah. That's why in times of war or in times of COVID, people have money and survive, yes, rather than in cities.
It's not just about planting food. It's about which money do you fund that harvest with, right? Farmers don't have money most of the time. They only get money when the harvest happens. They get all their money paid out when the harvest happens. So they usually have to pay off debts that they have. So debt is one big part of it. But secondly, once the production has happened, you have to get it to market. And farmers don't know how to access fair prices. So they get screwed on both ends, and that keeps them in the same debt cycle, the poverty cycle.
So I want to add it like something theoretical and also like from the, I'm an anthropologist. So we have like research from the Clifford Geertz. They said in Indonesia farming, we have what they call is sharing poverty. Can you imagine it? So people in Indonesia doing farming is sharing their own poverty. For example, in Bali, you can see there are many ceremonial. It's make them broke. But this is how they live. So this is the problem in Indonesia. One thing, whatever they plant, they're not selling for the profit. But this is the way of our life. And somehow, this is become the problem. And in the modern world, they're still doing exactly same like what their father doing. But the problem is, the world is changed. We're not only doing the barter. When you have something, we can get something, right? You need money in this modern day. And this has become one problem. Like in Bali, not Bali, we have like fast land for the mango. Like in the 3 years before, this is very poor village in Bali. And it's like takes 2 hours from here. Because they doesn't have any water. And then one person just came up with the idea how we cultivate the mango. And the village will be provide the water. So they just give the cheap water for the people, so the people just can grow up the mango. Is that the problem is done? Not yet. When the mango is yield, the market is also become the problem. Because they doesn't have market, but because they doesn't have fair pricing. For example, for 1 kilo mango in here, how much you will be buy? Like
1 kilo mango.
1 kilo, like 15, 20, 20,000, right? From the farmer directly, you just can buy like 16 rupiah for 1 kilo. So imagine, people as a middleman in Bali here get like 100% profit. Like maximum you just buy like 10,000 for 1 kilo. But when come to Bali, maybe you can buy selling for 20, 25, like till the 15 rupiah, I think. This is the problem. This is only in one Bali. Can you imagine if it happen? It's all around Indonesia. Like for the rice, for example, from my factory, I just selling it like 9,000 till 10,000 rupiah. But in the Alfamart or Indomaret, they will be sale for 14,000 rupiah. They have the big capital, but they just always give the high or like the lower pricing from the farmer. This is the problem. The layer one is the poorest one, because the layer one for the farmer is the people who get less profit. And the biggest take profit in Indonesia is the middleman and the market itself, like the big capital, right? In the end.
It's not only in Indonesia. Huh? I just
All right.
wanted to know that this is all over the world. It's even in France. I've worked all over the world, and it's the same story again and again and again. That's repeated. But I think that there are a couple of things. The knowledge, the skills, that is required in order to move with times, and farmers are not known for liking to change and liking to transgress the things that they've done for years and years and years. And then the other thing is also saving. There is a lot attached to saving money, to being able to budget things. And in a lot of countries, it's something that's not necessarily learned because it's not necessarily part of the culture, as well. So I think it's a more complex issue when you look at all the different things that you have to consider. But from continent to continent and from country to country, and that's what's fascinating here in Indonesia, because normally the capacity of saving has something to do with lifestyle, religion, but also language, because there are different types of languages, and actually linguistic has a massive impact on the ability of people to save because of the way that they think. But it's more, I think, than just the middle agent and just the pricing. It's also an opportunity to learn how to transform, how to cultivate other things, and what's necessary, as you rightly, gave this amazing example about understanding what's the problem in order to make the most out of one's resources and valuing the resources, because the land is of value and not getting rid of it.
And look, can see that I love that, Carol. Very great observation, and I know that you want to answer that. But what I want to do is I want to get to Adrian's question, and then we'll loop back. All right? So you have a question?
Yeah, really easy one. So you're selling futures on a commodity, and that's great, but it's very limiting when it comes to marketing. So you're talking about going to Middle East markets. Makes sense. If I was a Middle East rice or fruit distributor, I would buy your futures. It guarantees my production and locks in my pricing. It's a smarter economic move for me. There is no social good involved. I want to make money. I'm a capitalist. I'm buying your futures. That's it. Done. But there's also a secondary component to it, which is it is an Indonesian product, and that does carry brand value, especially with Indonesia and in other places as well, where they sell the premium version of the product that comes from Indonesia. So that NFT that you create, which binds the transaction in something of a transparent fashion, is also an on-packaging, validated proof of origin as well. Have you considered embedding value into that aspect of the process?
Yeah, so again, in the step-by-step process, FarmSend is setting up the supply chain so the buyers on that side can just have a marketplace and buy commodities. Next step is for them to buy the NFTs as to be able to stabilize their prices. But you're right, the step after that is for them to be able to see, I'm producing with the best mangoes from Java, which are world-renowned mangoes. And here's verified proof that they came from not even just verified proof that they came from Java, they came from Ketut's farm. Exactly. So it's all going to be connected with the supply chain, and it is going to be tracked all the way through. Also, it's the part we don't like to talk about too much, but we'll talk about here because you guys are all really smart people, is this whole process is to tokenize, sorry, I'll take that back, is to gamify investing, right? This is invest to earn game. Like, when you think about it, how many games do you play which are invest to earn? There's play to earn games, there's move to earn games, there's all types of games, right? But this is an invest to earn game. So it's going to have, you're going to go into a metaverse, let's say. That's the end goal. You're going to go into a metaverse. You're going to buy some land. It's going to plant the harvest. And as the rice grows, the rice in the game will grow. But you'll be able to buy a perk, right? You'll be like, I want to buy the factory perk. So you fund a little factory. When 1,000 of us buy that perk, we actually go buy a literal factory. Like, that's what we're in conversations for right now. Then you'll be able to buy a perk for, let's say, an expert, an Adrian in the game. Because I would look forward to buying you for sure. I'd like buy out the supply, you know what I mean?
Adrian's not for sale, right?
Oh, he will be in our system.
First option. I got first option.
We're selling Adrians, people, left and right. So we can buy an Adrian to come in with his AI expertise, and people in the game will buy it, but it will be reflected in the real world. So you want to do farm build 3.0? Effectively, yeah, but with the real world. Yeah, exactly. It's amazing.
Beautiful, man. Whoa. Yeah, nailed it right there. So, Brother Sabdo and both of you, Sim, I know there's a few announcements that you'd like to make as well. I think now could be a pretty good time to let people know of a few things that you've got in the works.
Oh, yeah. All right. So, yeah, but I want to add it for Adrian first.
Yeah, go
Okay,
back to the question. Yeah.
Yeah, because like when you say the problem in Indonesia is, yes, our agriculture yield doesn't have any quality standard for minimum, because it's always selling in a domestic vacation. Some people get the opportunities, like as the exporter, actually they don't have the land, but they just make like their own paper document. Because I have my real experience. I bought mango from Indonesia, and then my friend just said it, and he buy the mango from the Singapore with the sticker. My mango doesn't have sticker. When I go to the Japan, my mango need to be put in the truss, and the mango from Singapore can go out just because the difference of the sticker. This is maybe like the future we wanted. So it will be good if we have like the big company, big name from the outside, and we just will be supply for the raw material and anything. And we using their document, the material. Like he said, it's not only like game for investment, but actually it's like will be like game for industrial also, for me, right? And that is what I just want to put added. And what we want to make to do the new thing is, the first is we will be launch our Fire Harvest O in August this year, and with our launching also we want to launch also what we call Real World Asset Association Global. So we want to find, or we want to gather for all people who have similar project like us for the real world asset as one association. Can I say the purpose of it? Yeah, it's just like for the community, right?
First, you're hearing it first here, everyone.
Yeah.
You're hearing it. Brace yourselves, it's first. Okay, let's go.
Okay, so our target is like minimum we have like 7 countries. So it will be held in Bali or probably in Dubai. I don't know, because I make it with my friend Yoks Srusdi, okay? So what we intend to do is, we want to make a project like us, based on real world asset, not based on air-based project, not only for the money game project, but real world asset as an association, like minimum 7 or 20, with the government of Indonesia. Why we doing this? Because, Why we doing this? Because this is very simple. I want to make real world asset project born in Indonesia and become the standard for the world from the Indonesia. Because for the Indonesia government, when we have international association, we make the rule by ourselves, then the government will just copy paste this as our regulation. This is the wonderful thing, and we want to doing this. So if you like, you said like you're from Australia, right? Maybe
UK, but I lived in Australia
UK,
for a while.
okay, and maybe like for wherever, if you just interesting, you just come up to me like as representative of UK or maybe representative of Australia, and what kind of project you have it. Like minimum you have like 3 projects, and then you can make your own association in your country, and we make globally with this hub maybe in Dubai and Bali. This is what we want to do. I'm already talking with some government. The person who already interesting is our Ministry of Private Company, Eric Thohir. Maybe you know of them. Probably he will become like the chief in Indonesia. And we also have like President of Zambia will be involved. Some representative from Thailand Kingdom, and maybe the son or maybe the president of Jokowi itself in the international thing.
And we're going to connect that together with our partners from the Global Blockchain Business Council to allow you all the resources required if you're a tokenization expert or on the way to becoming a tokenization expert to tokenize whatever you'd like. So the piece I'd like to say, we spoke about how the normal crypto heads don't want to invest in this kind of stuff because it only makes like whatever 20-40% in a year, maybe makes a lot less. In reality, most of the money is sitting in sovereign wealth funds and financial asset managers like BlackRock and State Street and Blackstone. They can't buy shit. They don't have like a shitcoin part of their portfolio that they can waste, right? They can only buy real world stuff, like actually valuable things. So just realize that the next flood of liquidity that's coming to the space is not going to come to dog-eared coins or DeFi or any of the old game. It's going to come to the future of how crypto is going to be deployed, and that's real-world asset tokenization. Simple as that. So you can get involved as an expert, start to learn about it, start to just understand the process. And when you look around, there's a ton of opportunity of people trying to look into this space. So if you're one of those, reach out, and we can get you connected.
So look, we're going to begin to wrap up, but what I'm going to ask you to, in about a minute and a half, some closing comments. Now, it might be reiterating something you've said already, or it might be something that you wanted to mention, but we haven't done it yet. Either one of those, right? But in about 2 minutes. So for those of you wondering, I'm wearing this T-shirt called The Funding, co-founder of The Funding. The founder is a guy called Wayne Thompson, who also founded Buyamia. Buyamia is the first Alibaba-type website for Indonesia, where a lot of these products can be sold to the world. The Funding is building a platform, the largest platform supporting entrepreneurism and investment in Indonesia. We've just done our first TV show a few weeks ago with our partners Viking Sunset Studios, who are building the largest Hollywood studio in Bali. And we've got the next one coming up is an AI-focused event, which is going to happen in mid-June, which I'll let you know about. There's a few people here. I'm going to look at this guy. His name begins with A, who's going to be helping us on that one. And he's been speaking earlier on tonight. So watch out for The Funding. It's something that we're very excited about, something that is bringing foreigners, Indonesians together to create some incredible projects where Tri Hitakarana at the soul and the core of it. Next week, Bhavna Pariha, our beautiful co-host, will be back with another wonderful installment. And that one will be more of a one-on-one, going deep, right? Deep, right? Going deep with a wonderful guest. So watch out for that one. I want to thank also Tropical Nomad. We've got Brother Ichi, my brother over there, Brother Guzman, Sister Ayu, who's hanging out somewhere. Thank you so much for being our technical partner and making us look and sound amazing. And obviously to you, the audience who are here, thank you for showing up. Please come, be part of our audience. It's free, it's amazing. You get to network after that you cannot do online, right? That's why you come in person. So you get to meet some incredible people in the flesh, do some deals, make some relationships work, create some partnerships. That's why you come. And obviously to Brother Sim, Brother Sabdo. Last time I saw you, it was with a senior immigration official that you brought onto the show, the first in Bali. The first time an immigration official of that weight and level had come to a public forum and literally can ask him anything, which was phenomenal. So you and Brother Gossi, obviously, and our man Yog as well. So look, without further ado, I'm going to leave it to you, my brothers, but Brother Sim also, to take us out. After you, we'll close it, and then we'll have some private questions after off camera. Over to you.
People always want things to change, right? I hear so many people, I wish things would change. I wish things were different. But they're just things. Things don't change. People change. So you got to change. You want the world to change? You got to change. You got to do something to change the world or stop complaining. So this is an opportunity where we can reshape the way that value flows in the world and build systems that build equity into the framework of those systems. It's not easy. It sucks. Takes 16 hours a day sometimes, but it's an opportunity. So whichever part of the world you want to see changed, get involved in that process. And trust me, the amount of opportunity is infinite. And if you're taking steps towards whatever your mission is, it'll happen. Regardless of if you do something or not, there are people who are going to take over the entire value chain of the world using these technologies. And their name starts with a B and ends with a lac rock.
Like, so maybe for the closing statement is like, yeah, Fire Harvest All at the first is only like my paper in PowerPoint for 1 year doing nothing in my laptop. Yeah, really, because I don't really in the blockchain community, right? I'm just doing the farming thing. So it just like takes 1 year only in my only one thing, and then meet my friend, make a change, and I meet a sim, Gozian also, and I'm here also. And this Fire Harvest All is just like a momentum. When they get the momentum, it's just getting higher and higher. So I'm never like not to bother to doing like the promotion or selling thing, because when I'm just doing the momentum, the good things always happen. So what I want to say is, what we're doing is about our dream to make a good thing for our people. For example, like when tomorrow, yesterday, we come to Lombok. Before this Fire Harvest All, I made what we call like village association entrepreneur. They said the road we using car is just new. It's only like 1 to 2 years. Because before that, this village is become remote because the road is still on the soil. So when the rain coming, it's very hard. And they just said, because APD bring this to the ministry, and then the vice of ministry just coming to this village, and they just build the road. So people right now can make like easier trading with the corn. This is the value, and this is what the tears for me is come for. And this is what I'm live for, and what this is Fire Harvest All is for. Because when you see the smiling in the people, and you sing the changing by yourself, even I doesn't know about the road. I just know yesterday. I just told to the Sim, you know, this road is because of us. And it's very new. Before this, you cannot go till those villages because it's like the remote area. So probably in the future, I just thinking about this is what Fire Harvest All must to do. Maybe like the people who doesn't have electricity need to have electricity in this home because they already have like sustained income. So when you want to involve for Fire Harvest All, I not want to like promote you just buying our NFT, but whatever you can do, like whatever your expertise, we are very welcome. Because for me, this is not about business, but this is about we changing a life. This is my last statement.